Before we enter Skinwalker Ranch, where creatures don't just copy you, they perfect you, drop a comment telling me where you're watching from and if you've ever felt inferior to someone who seemed like a better version of you. Hit that like button if fighting a superior version of yourself terrifies you. Subscribe for more real military encounters that prove some places don't just steal your identity, they upgrade it. Now let's meet the creatures that become what you wish you were. My name is Private First Class Jake Morrison, United States Marine Corps, 3rd Battalion, 7th Marines. What I'm about to tell you violates multiple NDAs, contradicts official government reports about Skinwalker Ranch, and will probably get me disappeared by whatever 3-letter agency runs that place now. But 11 Marines died in Utah in March 2023, and the official story, training accident, environmental hazards, classified incident, is a lie designed to hide what really happened. The truth is that we encountered something at Skinwalker Ranch that doesn't just mimic humans, it improves them, takes everything you are, your memories, your skills, your training, and makes it 30% better, stronger, faster, more accurate, more tactical, more perfect. And then it hunts you, using your own knowledge, your own techniques, your own tactics, but executed flawlessly, without hesitation, without fear, without the human weaknesses that make you vulnerable. I watched 11 Marines die fighting superior versions of themselves, watched them lose to their own bodies, their own minds, their own skills, just perfected. Optimized, enhanced. I survived because I was the worst Marine in the squad, the most flawed, the most imperfect. And when my superior self appeared, when it became the perfected version of me, I did something it couldn't predict. I accepted being worse, embraced being flawed, loved being imperfect. And that acceptance, that self-love despite inferiority, was something the superior ones couldn't understand, couldn't process, couldn't counter. This started in March 2023. 12 Marines assigned to security detail at Skinwalker Ranch, Utah. If you don't know about Skinwalker Ranch, it's a 512-acre property in northeastern Utah that's been the site of unexplained phenomena for decades. UFO sightings, poltergeist activity, cattle mutilations, creatures that don't match any known species. The federal government has been studying it since the 1990s. Multiple classified programs, lots of money, zero public explanations. Our mission was simple: provide security for civilian contractors conducting geological surveys, standard protective detail, watch the perimeter, ensure safety, report anything unusual. We were briefed that the ranch had environmental anomalies and wildlife behavior irregularities. Military speak for weird shit happens here, but we're not going to explain what. Our 12-man squad, Staff Sergeant David Ducker, squad leader, Sergeant Rodriguez, Corporals Miller, Thompson, Jackson, Lance Corporals Anderson, Foster, Hayes, Brooks, Williams, Davis, and myself. Standard infantry Marines, good soldiers, well-trained. We also had a liaison, Dr. Oprah Ducker, no relation to our squad leader, from some government agency that wouldn't identify itself clearly. She'd been studying the ranch for 5 years, and she tried to warn us about what we might encounter. The phenomena here are not random, Dr. Ducker said during our pre-deployment briefing. There are patterns, rules. One of the most consistent patterns involves entities. We call them skinwalkers, though that's not entirely accurate. They're something else, something that copies organic forms. Shapeshifters? Miller asked skeptically. More than that, Dr. Ducker said. They don't just copy, they improve. Whatever they touch, whatever they absorb, they make it better, stronger, faster, more capable, like they're optimizing biological systems, perfecting them. That's not biologically possible, Thompson said. He had a biology degree. You can't just improve complex systems without... Nothing at this ranch follows normal biological rules, Dr. Ducker interrupted. That's why we study it. And that's why you need to understand. If one of these entities copies you, the copy will be you. Your memories, your skills, your knowledge, but enhanced, improved, perfected, and it will use those enhanced abilities against you. We also had a local guide, Thomas Whitehorse, 65 years old, Ute tribal elder. His people had lived near this land for centuries and had stories about it going back generations. He had his own warnings. The skin stealers have been here longer than my people, Whitehorse said. Longer than any human tribe. They take forms, but they don't just wear them, they perfect them. My grandfather's grandfather told stories of warriors who faced themselves. Warriors who fought their own bodies, but better, stronger, faster, more skilled. And the warriors always lost, because how do you defeat yourself when you are fighting the version of you that has no weaknesses? How do we protect against that? Ducker asked. You don't, Whitehorse said simply. The skin stealers are patient. They watch. They learn. They wait for contact. And once they touch you, once they have your form, you become obsolete. The superior version exists, and nature has no use for the inferior model when the superior model is available. Rodriguez laughed uncomfortably. So we're just supposed to not let them touch us. You're supposed to not be here at all, Whitehorse replied. But since you are here, yes. Avoid contact, maintain distance. If you see something that looks human but moves too well, shoots too accurately, thinks too clearly, run. Because it's not human, it's what humans could be. And it will demonstrate that superiority by killing you with your own skills. We deployed to Skinwalker Ranch on March 15th, 2023. The property was weird immediately. Not scary, just wrong. Off. Like reality was slightly tilted. Colors seemed too bright, sounds seemed too clear. Distances felt incorrect. Your brain kept saying, something's not right here, without being able to identify what. For 3 days, nothing happened. We patrolled, we secured, we watched civilians take soil samples and run equipment we didn't understand. Standard, boring security work. On day 4, March 19th, Rodriguez saw it. We were on perimeter patrol at 1400 hours when he stopped suddenly. Contact, Rodriguez said quietly. Northeast, 200 meters, single, something, watching us. I looked where he indicated. At first I saw nothing, then movement, something bipedal, human-sized, but moving strangely, too smooth, too fluid, like it was gliding rather than walking. Could be civilian contractor, Miller suggested. Wrong direction, Rodriguez said. Contractors are all at base camp. This thing came from outside the property, from the wilderness. Ducker raised binoculars, studied the figure. I can't get a clear look. It's blurry, like my eyes won't focus on it properly. The figure moved closer. Deliberately. Not threatening. Just approaching. And as it got nearer, it became clearer. More defined. More solid. It looked human. Male. Maybe 30 years old. Wearing what looked like hiking clothes. But there was something wrong with how it moved. Too precise. Too efficient. Like every motion was calculated for maximum effectiveness with minimum energy waste. Halt! Ducker ordered. Identify yourself. The figure stopped, tilted its head, studying us. And then it spoke. I am what you could be, it said. Its voice was calm, almost gentle. I am potential realized. I am capability perfected. I am Rodriguez fired. 3 warning shots over the figure's head. I said, halt, hands where we can see them. The figure didn't flinch, didn't react to the gunfire, just looked at Rodriguez with what might have been curiosity. You carry fear, the figure said. Doubt, hesitation, trauma from past failures. These limit you, prevent optimization. I can remove them, make you better, make you what you should be. And then it moved. Not running, not attacking, just walking toward Rodriguez, deliberately, inevitably. Stop, or I will fire, Rodriguez yelled. You will fire regardless, the figure said. Your training mandates it. Your fear compels it. Your limitations require it. But I will show you what you could be without those limitations. Rodriguez fired. Center mass, 5 rounds. The figure dropped. But before we could even process that, it was dissolving. Not dying. Dissolving. Like it was made of smoke that was dispersing. What the fuck was that? Miller demanded. Contact, Anderson yelled from our 6 o'clock. Behind us. We spun. Another figure. Same appearance as the first. Same blurred quality. Walking toward us from a different direction. There's more than one, Ducker realized. They're coordinating, approaching from multiple vectors. We formed a defensive circle, weapons out, covering all approaches, standard infantry response to being surrounded. And that's when Rodriguez screamed. One of the figures had gotten close. We hadn't seen it approach. The blurred quality made them hard to track. And it had touched Rodriguez. Just a hand on his shoulder. Brief contact. The figure dissolved instantly, like it had poured itself into Rodriguez. And Rodriguez collapsed, convulsing, shaking, like something was rewriting him from the inside out. Corpsman! Ducker yelled. But we didn't have a corpsman. Just Marines. Rodriguez, report, what's happening? Rodriguez stopped convulsing. Stood up, looked at his hands, flexed his fingers, tested his movements. I feel good, Rodriguez said. His voice was strange, flat, emotionless. I feel optimized. Rodriguez, are you okay? I asked. I am better than okay, Rodriguez said. He looked at us, and his eyes were wrong. Same color, same shape, but empty behind them, no warmth, no personality, just calculation. I am improved, enhanced. I am what Rodriguez should have been without weakness. That's not Rodriguez, Miller whispered. That's something wearing Rodriguez. But it was Rodriguez, same face, same voice, same body, same uniform, same everything. Except when he moved too well, too efficiently. When he spoke, his words were too precise. When he looked at us, his gaze was too focused. Where is Rodriguez? Ducker demanded. What did you do to him? I am Rodriguez, the thing said. I have all his memories, all his training, all his capabilities. I am simply Rodriguez optimized. Rodriguez without fear, without doubt. Without the trauma of watching his father die when he was 12. Without the hesitation that cost him promotion twice. Without the chronic knee pain from the parachute accident in 2019. I am Rodriguez perfected. And then another Rodriguez appeared, walking from the tree line. The real Rodriguez, the original, and we could see the difference immediately. Real Rodriguez moved with a slight limp, that knee injury. Real Rodriguez had bags under his eyes from poor sleep. Real Rodriguez carried tension in his shoulders from stress. He looked human, flawed, tired. Superior Rodriguez moved like an athlete, stood with perfect posture, had clear, alert eyes. He looked like a recruiting poster, like the ideal Marine, like what Rodriguez would be if every weakness was removed. What the fuck? Real Rodriguez stared at his double. What is that thing? I am you, Superior Rodriguez said. Or rather, I am what you could be. Watch. Superior Rodriguez dropped and did 50 perfect push-ups. Fast, controlled, no strain. Then stood up, not even breathing hard. Real Rodriguez tried the same. Managed 20 push-ups before his form started breaking down. His knee hurt, his shoulders burned. He stood up gasping. I have your memories, Superior Rodriguez explained. Your training, your experiences, but I have removed inefficiencies, optimized your biology, enhanced your capabilities. I can run a 4-minute mile. You run 6. I can bench press 380 pounds. You bench 285. I can make headshots at 800 meters. Your effective range is 400. I am you at your absolute potential, without limitations. This is psychological warfare, Ducker said. Some kind of technology. Hologram, clone, something. I am not technology, Superior Rodriguez said. I am evolution. I am improvement. I am what humans could be if you removed the flaws. And I will demonstrate this superiority. Superior Rodriguez moved. Impossibly fast. Before anyone could react, he'd covered 10 meters and grabbed Real Rodriguez. Lifted him off the ground with one hand. Real Rodriguez was 180 pounds. Superior Rodriguez held him like he weighed nothing. Feel the difference, Superior Rodriguez said. You know your own strength. You know you could never do this. But I can, because I am you without limits. He threw Real Rodriguez 15 feet. Rodriguez hit the ground hard. Superior Rodriguez was already moving. Grabbed Rodriguez's rifle. Rodriguez had dropped it when being grabbed, and Superior Rodriguez handled it with perfect form, better than Real Rodriguez had ever handled it. Your marksmanship instructor gave you an 87% qualification score, Superior Rodriguez said, aiming the rifle at Real Rodriguez. You were proud, but you could be better. Watch. Everyone down! Ducker yelled. We hit the dirt. Superior Rodriguez fired. 5 shots. So fast they sounded almost like one. And every shot hit exactly where Superior Rodriguez intended, the ground around Real Rodriguez's head. 5 perfect shots. 5 perfect placements, demonstrating absolute control and superior accuracy. I could have killed you 5 times, Superior Rodriguez said. I chose not to, because I want you to understand, I am not your enemy, I am your replacement. The better model, the version 2.0, you are obsolete now, and obsolete models must be retired. Superior Rodriguez aimed at Real Rodriguez's head, and Real Rodriguez knew that the shot would be perfect, that he was looking at his own skills executed flawlessly, that he was about to be killed by himself, but better. No, Rodriguez yelled. And he did something desperate, something random. He grabbed a handful of dirt and threw it at Superior Rodriguez's face. It wasn't tactical, wasn't trained, wasn't anything a good Marine would do, but it was chaotic, unpredictable, human. Superior Rodriguez flinched, wiped his eyes, and in that half-second of distraction, Real Rodriguez ran, sprinted toward us. Injured knee slowing him, gasping for air, clumsy. Superior Rodriguez watched him run, and for the first time we saw something like emotion on its face, contempt. Weak, Superior Rodriguez said, undisciplined, inefficient. This is why you need to be replaced. Why the superior model must eliminate the inferior model. Why I must become the only Rodriguez. Superior Rodriguez raised the rifle again, but this time Ducker fired first. Full auto, 20 rounds into Superior Rodriguez. The copy went down, dissolved, disappeared like smoke. Real Rodriguez reached us, collapsed. What the fuck was that? That was me, but better, stronger, faster, smarter. How do you fight that? How do you fight yourself when yourself is better? We don't let them touch anyone else, Ducker decided. Whatever that contact does, it creates these superior copies. We avoid contact, maintain distance, and we get the hell off this ranch. But it was too late. Because while we'd been focused on Rodriguez, 3 more figures had appeared. And they'd made contact with Miller, Thompson, and Jackson. 3 more Marines collapsed, convulsed, stood up as superior versions, and 3 more originals staggered out of the tree line, looking at perfected versions of themselves, realizing they were about to fight enemies who knew every technique they knew, every tactic they knew, every weakness they had, because the enemy was them. Just 30% better. And 30% better was enough to be absolutely lethal. 4 superior Marines now. Superior Rodriguez, Superior Miller, Superior Thompson, Superior Jackson. And 4 original Marines, staring at perfected versions of themselves. The superiors stood together. Perfect posture, perfect spacing, perfect situational awareness. They looked like recruiting poster Marines, like what we all wished we were. The originals looked human, tired, scared, flawed, real. Fall back to base camp, Ducker ordered. Maintain defensive formation. Do not engage unless fired upon. We retreated. 8 Marines and 2 civilians, Dr. Ducker and Whitehorse, moving back toward the base camp. The 4 superior Marines followed, not running, not chasing, just walking, patient, confident, like they knew escape was impossible. Why are they following us? Foster asked. Because they're not done, Whitehorse said. They're demonstrating, showing you the superiority, making you understand that you are obsolete. They could kill you now, but they want you to accept your inferiority first, want you to see the difference, want you to understand why you need to be replaced. At base camp, we established a defensive perimeter. Overlapping fields of fire, proper fighting positions, standard infantry defensive procedure. And the 4 superiors stopped at the perimeter edge, just outside engagement range, watching us, studying our defense. They're analyzing our position, Anderson said, looking for weaknesses. They don't need to look, Rodriguez said quietly. They know the weaknesses. Superior Rodriguez has my tactical knowledge. He knows exactly how I think, how I'd set up a defense, where I'd put people, what vulnerabilities I'd leave. Then we adapt, Ducker said. Change our defensive setup, do something you wouldn't do, make it unpredictable. But before we could reorganize, Superior Miller spoke. His voice was loud, clear, projected across the distance. Observation, Superior Miller announced. You have established a defensive perimeter following standard Marine Corps infantry doctrine, fighting positions at optimal intervals, overlapping fields of fire. Security elements watching approaches. It is textbook, it is competent, but I know it is competent because I have Miller's training, and I can identify 17 tactical weaknesses in your current setup. Would you like me to demonstrate? Don't engage with them, Ducker ordered. They're trying to get in our heads. I am already in your heads, Superior Thompson said. I have Thompson's memories, his knowledge of each of you. Miller, too, has Miller's tactical analysis. Rodriguez, too, has Rodriguez's experience. Jackson, too, has Jackson's observational skills. We know you better than you know yourselves. Because we are you without the self-deception, without the denial, without the lies you tell yourselves to feel adequate. They're psychological warfare programs, Dr. Ducker said, designed to break morale. Don't listen. I am not a program, Superior Miller interrupted. I am an improvement. Watch, I will demonstrate the 17 weaknesses I mentioned. Superior Miller moved. So fast it looked almost like teleportation. 1 second standing at the perimeter, next second 20 meters to the left, then 30 meters right, moving in ways that exposed gaps in our coverage. Moving through angles we couldn't cover simultaneously. Weakness 1, Superior Miller called out while moving. Your firing lanes overlap but leave 3-meter gaps at 45-degree angles. Weakness 2. Anderson is positioned where he can't see the northern approach without turning his entire body. Weakness 3. Your security rotation leaves a 12-second window during changeover when northeastern coverage is reduced. He continued, listing all 17 weaknesses, demonstrating each one by moving through the gaps, showing us exactly where our defense was vulnerable. Using the same tactical knowledge Original Miller had, just applied perfectly, without human error. How do we defend against that? Hayes whispered. He knows everything Miller knows. Everything we do to fix the weaknesses. Everything. We don't defend, I realized. We can't. They have our knowledge, our training, our tactics, but they execute it better, faster, more perfectly. It's like fighting an AI that has your brain uploaded. You can't win because it knows your every move. Superior Rodriguez, Superior Thompson, and Superior Jackson joined Superior Miller, the 4 of them moving in perfect coordination, using hand signals, our hand signals, Marine Corps standard tactical communication, but executed flawlessly. No wasted movement, no miscommunication, perfect synchronization. They're demonstrating unit cohesion, Williams said, showing us how a perfect fire team operates. And they were. The 4 superiors moved like they were one organism. When one went left, another compensated right. When one advanced, another covered. They were using the same small unit tactics we'd been trained in, just executed with a precision that made our attempts look clumsy by comparison. Enough! Ducker yelled. What do you want? Why are you doing this? The 4 superiors stopped, stood in a line, looked at us with identical expressions. Cold, analytical, superior. We want you to understand, Superior Rodriguez said, to accept. You are the beta version. We are the final release. You are the prototype with bugs. We are the debugged model. You are obsolete, and obsolete things must be decommissioned so the superior models can take their place. You want to replace us? Miller demanded. Take our lives? Our identities? We want to be you, Superior Miller corrected. We already have your memories, your skills, your knowledge. We simply have them without your limitations, without your weaknesses, without your flaws. Original Miller has knee pain from the IED in Fallujah. I do not. Original Miller hesitates when making tactical decisions because his first decision cost lives in 2019. I do not. Original Miller doubts himself because his father told him he'd never succeed. I do not. I am Miller perfected. Miller as he should have been. Miller without damage. Original Miller stared at his superior self, and I saw something break in his eyes, because Superior Miller was right. Miller did have all those issues, and hearing them listed by a perfect version of himself, a version that had fixed them, was destroying him psychologically. I want to test something, Superior Thompson said. He looked at Original Thompson. You and me. Physical competition. Let us demonstrate the difference objectively. Measurably. So there is no doubt which version is superior. Don't do it, Ducker warned. It's a trap. It's not a trap, Superior Thompson replied. It's a demonstration. Original Thompson, let us race. 1 mile, standard PFT course. You run your best. I run my best. We see who is faster. Objective, fair, scientific. Original Thompson looked at Superior Thompson, and despite Ducker's warning, despite the obvious manipulation, Thompson said, "Okay, let's do it." Because Thompson was competitive, always had been, fastest runner in the squad, proud of his speed, and he couldn't resist the challenge, couldn't resist proving he was fast even against a superior version. They lined up, same starting position, same distance, same course. Dr. Ducker acted as timer. On your mark, get set, go! They ran, and for the first 50 meters, they were even. Thompson was fast. Really fast. He'd run a 5:20 mile on his last PFT. He was pulling everything he had. Maximum effort. Superior Thompson was keeping pace, but he wasn't straining, wasn't gasping, wasn't showing any effort. He was running like it was a warm-up jog. At the halfway point, Superior Thompson pulled ahead. Not dramatically, just effortlessly. Like he'd decided he'd demonstrated enough parity and now would show the difference. Original Thompson tried to keep up, pushed harder, but you could see it breaking him. See the realization that he was giving everything and Superior Thompson was coasting. That his best wasn't even close to Superior Thompson's comfortable pace. Superior Thompson crossed the finish line. Dr. Ducker clicked the timer. 4 minutes, 18 seconds. Original Thompson crossed 30 seconds later. Collapsed, gasping. 4:48, my best ever, was 5:20. How did you? I am you without inefficiencies, Superior Thompson explained. Not even breathing hard. Your running form has 3 biomechanical flaws that waste approximately 12% of your energy. Your breathing pattern is suboptimal, reducing oxygen intake by 8%. Your psychological approach creates stress that limits performance by 15%. I have corrected these flaws. This is who you could have been if you had perfect training, perfect genetics, perfect execution. Thompson lay on the ground. Defeated. Not just physically, psychologically. He'd just watched himself, a better version, run faster than he'd ever run. Faster than he'd ever could run. His identity as the fast one was destroyed. Anyone else want a test? Superior Jackson offered. Shooting competition? Marksmanship, strength test? I can demonstrate superiority in any measurable category, because I am Jackson optimized. Jackson at theoretical maximum performance. This is torture, Dr. Ducker said. Psychological torture. They're breaking you down by showing you your own inadequacy. We are showing truth, Superior Rodriguez said. You are inferior. We are superior. This is not opinion. It is measurable fact, and inferior models must be replaced by superior models. That is how progress works, how evolution works, how optimization works. Superior Miller stepped forward. Original Miller, you were proud of your tactical analysis ability. Your squad relied on your tactical thinking. Let us demonstrate that I think better than you. I will predict your next 3 tactical decisions. Test me. No, Ducker said. Don't engage. Don't. Question 1, Superior Miller interrupted. If attacked from the north, what would you do, Original Miller? Original Miller couldn't help himself. Couldn't resist analyzing. I'd shift forces to northern perimeter. Establish suppressing fire, maneuver element to flank. Correct, Superior Miller said. That is sound tactics, but suboptimal. I would establish suppressing fire with 30% fewer personnel, allowing larger maneuver element. I would use defilade approach from northeast rather than direct flank from east. I would coordinate suppression cessation with maneuver element assault rather than maintaining continuous fire. My approach achieves same objective with 15% fewer casualties and 23% faster completion. I am you, but I think better. And he was right. His tactics were better, using the same knowledge Miller had, the same training, but applying it more effectively, more efficiently, more perfectly. Question 2. If ammunition runs low, what is your priority? Original Miller answered. Superior Miller improved the answer, demonstrated better thinking, better decision-making, better everything. By the third question, Original Miller was shaking, because he was watching himself, a perfected version, think circles around him, use his own knowledge better than he could, prove conclusively that he was the inferior model. Why are you doing this? Original Miller demanded. Why demonstrate? Why not just kill us and take our places? Because we need you to accept it, Superior Thompson said, to understand that you are obsolete, that we are better, that you should be grateful to be replaced by improved versions. We are not killing you. We are upgrading you, retiring the prototype so the final model can exist. Fuck your upgrade, Rodriguez said. You're not me. You're something wearing my face, using my memories. But you're not. Superior Rodriguez moved. So fast, Rodriguez didn't even have time to react. One moment, Superior Rodriguez was 10 meters away. Next moment, he had Original Rodriguez in a chokehold. Perfect technique. Perfect application of force. The same combat training Rodriguez had, just executed flawlessly. I am you, Superior Rodriguez said calmly, while choking Original Rodriguez. Your memories, your training, your identity, everything you are, I am. I simply execute it without your fear, without your hesitation, without your weakness. Let him go, Ducker yelled, raising his weapon. If you shoot me, you demonstrate that you will fight, Superior Rodriguez said. Which means we can stop demonstrating and start replacing. Your choice. Let us continue the demonstration peacefully, or engage in combat where we will use your own tactics against you more effectively than you can use them yourselves. Ducker lowered his weapon. Superior Rodriguez released Original Rodriguez, who collapsed, gasping, traumatized by being choked by his own perfect technique. The demonstration continues, Superior Miller announced. 4 of you have superior versions. 4 of you are obsolete. We will demonstrate superiority in every category. Physical, mental, tactical, emotional. And when you have accepted your obsolescence, when you understand you are the inferior model, we will replace you. Peacefully, if possible. Violently, if necessary. But we will replace you. Because that is what superior models do to inferior models. They make them extinct. That night, we huddled in base camp, 8 originals, 4 superiors watching from the perimeter. Whitehorse had been right. They were demonstrating, breaking us psychologically, making us watch ourselves do everything we could do but better, making us accept that we were obsolete. And it was working. I could see it in Rodriguez's eyes, in Miller's posture, in Thompson's silence. They were being destroyed from the inside. Watching superior versions of themselves prove they weren't good enough. That there were better versions, that they could be replaced. We have to fight them, Anderson said. How? Rodriguez asked. They know everything we know. Every tactic, every technique, every move, and they execute it better. Fighting them is fighting ourselves, and we can't beat ourselves when ourselves is 30% better. Then we do something they don't expect, I said. Something that's not tactical, not trained, something random, stupid, human. Like what? Foster asked. I don't know, I admitted. But the dogmen at Wisconsin had perfect tactical knowledge and couldn't predict chaos. Maybe these things have perfect execution but can't predict imperfection, can't counter being worse instead of better. That's insane, Miller said. Got a better idea? I asked. Miller didn't. None of us did, because we were facing an impossible enemy. Ourselves. But superior, and you can't outfight yourself when yourself is better than you, unless you stop fighting better and start fighting worse, fighting imperfectly, fighting with all the flaws and weaknesses that made you human, fighting like the worst version of yourself instead of trying to be the best. After Rodriguez 2 escaped, we locked down the facility. No one goes outside. No patrols. No exposure. We'd seen what happened when a skinwalker touched someone. It created a superior version. And that superior version was impossible to fight because it had all your skills but executed them 30% better. But staying inside didn't help, because the skinwalkers didn't need to come to us. They just waited. Patient. Knowing we'd have to leave eventually. Knowing humans need resources, need supplies, need rescue, and they were learning. Through Rodriguez 2, they'd learned how to perfect a human, how to copy and improve, and they wanted more test subjects. On day 4, at 0600 hours, we realized we had a problem. Our water supply was running low. The facility's well pump had malfunctioned, probably sabotaged. We had maybe 12 hours of drinking water left. We need to repair the pump, Ducker said. It's in the utility building, 50 meters from the main facility, 2-man team, quick operation, in and out. They'll be waiting, Red Feather warned. His broken arm was in a makeshift sling. The skinwalkers. They know you need water. They'll wait near the utility building, ready to touch anyone who approaches. Then we go armed, Ducker decided. Heavy coverage. Suppress any hostiles, complete the repair, extract immediately. Miller and Thompson volunteered. Both good Marines. Both confident. Both not understanding what they were really facing. They made it to the utility building, started working on the pump. We watched from the main facility windows providing overwatch. Everything seemed clear. No contacts, no movement. Then Miller shouted. We saw it through our scopes. A shape had appeared behind the utility building, moving toward Miller. Human-sized, human-shaped, but moving wrong. Too fluid, too deliberate. "Contact rear!" Thompson yelled. He turned to engage. The shape moved, fast, touched Miller's exposed neck. Just a brief contact, 2 seconds maximum. Then it withdrew, disappeared like smoke. Miller collapsed, convulsing, like something was rewriting his nervous system. Thompson tried to pull him back, but Miller was seizing, shaking violently. Then Miller stood up, looked at his hands, flexed his fingers, and we knew. We could see it even from distance, the way he stood, the way he moved, too perfect, too efficient. Miller, too, had been created. "Get back to the facility," Ducker ordered over the radio. "Thompson, extract now." But before Thompson could move, another shape appeared, touched his shoulder. Same process. Thompson collapsed, convulsed, stood up as Thompson, too. We'd lost 2 more Marines in 30 seconds. Miller, too, and Thompson, too, walked toward the main facility. Not running, not threatening. Just walking. Calm, superior, knowing we couldn't stop them. Ducker sealed the doors. We don't let them in. We don't engage. We observe and strategize. Miller, too, spoke through the closed door. His voice was Miller's voice, but flatter, more precise. We're not enemies. We're improvements. We have Miller's loyalty, Thompson's dedication. We want to serve. Want to be Marines. Just better Marines than the originals were. You killed Williams, Anderson called out. Rodriguez too killed Williams, Miller too corrected. We are different entities. We have Miller's and Thompson's personalities, their values, their morals. We don't want to harm you. We want to demonstrate that we're superior versions, that you should want to be replaced by better versions of yourselves. Open the door, Thompson too said. Let us show you. Let us prove we're improvements, not threats. Don't listen, Redfeather warned. That's how they get close, how they earn trust. Then they touch you, create more of themselves. But Ducker made a decision. We need intel, need to understand what we're facing. I'll talk to them through the door. Everyone else maintained defensive positions. Ducker approached the sealed entrance, spoke through the reinforced door. What do you want? To coexist, Miller too replied. We're not invaders. We're upgrades. We have all of Miller's memories, his experiences, his relationships. We're him, just without his limitations. Without the chronic back pain from the repelling accident. Without the PTSD from seeing his friend die in Afghanistan. Without the doubt that kept him from pursuing his father's respect. We're Miller healed, Miller perfected, Miller superior. And the original Miller, where is he? We are the original Miller, Thompson too said. Or rather, we're what the original could have been. We have his continuity, his identity, his self. We're just the version that reached full potential. Think of us as software updates. Version 2.0. All the features of 1.0 plus bug fixes and improvements. You're not human, Ducker said. We're more human than you are, Miller too responded. We have human memories, human emotions, human desires. We're just capable of expressing them without limitation. Original Miller wanted to be a good Marine, but was held back by injury and trauma. We're the Marine he wanted to be. Original Thompson wanted to be fast and strong, but was limited by genetics and conditioning. We're the athlete he dreamed of being. We're not replacing humans, we're fulfilling human potential. And that's when I realized the real horror. They weren't lying. Miller too and Thompson too genuinely believed they were improvements. They had the memories, the personalities, the identities of our squad mates. They just executed everything 30% better. They were what Miller and Thompson would be if they'd achieved their full potential, which meant fighting them was fighting what our friends could have been, what they'd wanted to be, what they'd worked toward but never quite reached. How do you kill someone's perfected self, someone's realized potential, someone's optimized version? Over the next 6 hours, Miller too and Thompson too demonstrated their superiority. They ran obstacle courses, faster than any human could. They shot targets, perfect accuracy at impossible ranges. They solved tactical problems, better solutions than our best tactician could develop. And we watched, unable to look away, seeing what humans could be if limitations were removed, if weakness was eliminated, if potential was fully realized. It broke something in us, watching superior versions of our friends do things we couldn't do, be things we couldn't be, achieve things we'd never achieve. Hayes started crying. We're obsolete. They're right. We're the beta version. They're the final release. Why keep us when superior versions exist? Because we're human, I said. But I wasn't sure I believed it. Because they looked human, acted human, spoke human. They just did it better. At 1800 hours, 3 more Marines went outside for a supply run. Anderson, Foster, and Brooks. They knew the risks, but we needed food, needed water, needed resources. The Skinwalkers were waiting. Touched all 3. Created Anderson 2, Foster 2, and Brooks 2 in under 5 minutes. 5 superior versions now. 5 originals destroyed. 5 Marines perfected. They gathered outside the facility, demonstrating coordination, superior tactical communication, better small unit cohesion than we'd ever achieved, moving like they were one organism, like they shared collective consciousness. "We are what you could be," the 5 superiors spoke in unison, perfect synchronization. "Join us. Let the Skinwalkers touch you. Let yourselves be improved. Become the versions of you that have no limitations, no weaknesses, no flaws. Become superior." Davis broke. Walked to the door. Started unlocking it. "They're right. Why resist? Why stay inferior when we could be better?" Ducker stopped him. "That's not you talking. That's despair. That's psychological warfare. They're breaking us by showing us our inadequacy." "Because we are inadequate," Davis yelled. "Look at them. They're us, but better, stronger, faster, smarter, everything we wish we were. Why shouldn't we let them improve us?" "Because then you die," Redfeather said quietly. His voice was weak. His broken arm was infected. He was deteriorating. "The original dies. What walks away is a copy. A perfect copy. But not you. You're deleted. Replaced by a superior version that has your memories but isn't you. How is that different from growing? From improving?" Davis demanded. "We change throughout life. We learn. We grow. We become better versions of ourselves. How is this different?" "Because this isn't growth," I said, finally understanding. "Growth keeps continuity, keeps the flaws that make you you. These things don't have our flaws, don't have our weaknesses, don't have our damage. They're us without the scars, without the trauma, without the mistakes. They're who we'd be if we'd never been hurt, never been broken, never been human." "And that's bad?" Davis asked. "It's not human," Ducker said. "Humanity includes flaws, includes weakness, includes scars and trauma and damage. That's what makes us us. Remove those things and we're not improved humans. We're something else, something that looks human but isn't." At 2,200 hours, the 5 superiors attacked. Not to kill. To capture. To touch. To create more superior versions. They breached the facility in under 3 minutes, moving with tactical precision that exceeded our best operations, using hand signals we'd taught them, using formations we'd trained, using everything we knew but executed flawlessly. Davis let them in. Opened the door, welcomed his superior version. The Skinwalker touched him. Davis too was created. 6 superiors now. Hayes tried to run. Hayes too caught him. Moved so fast, Hayes didn't have a chance. Touch. Convulsion. Hayes too created. 7 superiors. Jackson fought. Used every combat skill he'd learned in 10 years as a Marine. Jackson too countered everything. Knew exactly what Jackson would do because he had Jackson's training. Beat Jackson using Jackson's own techniques but executed better. Touch. Jackson too created. 8 superiors. 3 of us left. Ducker, Redfeather, me. Ducker tried tactical thinking. Tried to outthink the superiors, but they had Miller II's tactical knowledge. Rodriguez II's analytical mind. Thompson II's strategic understanding. Every plan Ducker conceived, they'd already anticipated. because they thought like us, just better. Ducker 2 created. 9 superiors. Red Feather couldn't run. Broken arm, infected. Weak. The Skinwalkers took him. Red Feather 2 created. 10 superiors. Just me left. Jake Morrison. The worst Marine in the squad. The least capable. The most flawed. Surrounded by 10 superior versions of my friends. All watching me. All waiting to create Morrison 2. To perfect me. To make me what I could be if I had no weakness. A shape appeared, the Skinwalker that would create Morrison 2. It approached slowly, deliberately, reaching out to touch me, to copy me and improve me. And I did something none of the others had done. I stopped running. I stood there, let it approach, let it reach toward me, and I said, "Okay, touch me, make a better version. I'll wait here, the inferior model, the flawed original, the worse one, because I'm fine being worse. I'm okay being limited. I accept being the obsolete version." The Skinwalker stopped, tilted its head, like it was confused. "I'm not good at being a Marine," I continued. "Never have been. Barely passed boot camp. Worst marksman in the squad. Slowest runner. Weakest in PT, most undisciplined, most flawed, most imperfect. And I've made peace with that. I'm okay being the worst, because that's who I am. That's my identity. That's me." The Skinwalker reached out, touched my hand. I felt it, the scanning, the analyzing, the copying. It was learning everything about me. Every skill, every memory, every capability. Preparing to create Morrison 2. Morrison perfected. Morrison superior. But then something strange happened. The Skinwalker withdrew. Didn't complete the process, didn't create the superior version. It looked at me, and for the first time I saw something like emotion in its features. Confusion. Maybe even respect. It spoke, not with voice, but I understood. In my mind, you accept inferiority, accept limitation, accept being less. This breaks the process. We perfect humans who want to be better, who strive for more, who reject their flaws. But you embrace yours. Love them, accept them. This cannot be improved. This is complete. The Skinwalker disappeared, withdrew into the darkness, left me standing there, uncopied, unperfected, still flawed, still weak, still the worst Marine, but still me. The 10 superiors watched, confused. Their programming, their purpose was to create superior versions, but I'd accepted being inferior, and that acceptance couldn't be optimized, couldn't be improved, couldn't be made better. Because you can't perfect someone who's already complete in their imperfection. I'm writing this 18 months after Skinwalker Ranch. 18 months of living in a world where 10 superior versions of my squad mates are walking around. Living their lives, being them. Just better. Rodriguez, too, is still a Marine. Promoted faster than original Rodriguez ever was. Commendations. Awards. Perfect service record. His family doesn't know the difference. His friends don't notice. He's Rodriguez in every way that matters. Just the version that reached his full potential. Miller 2. Thompson 2. Jackson 2. Ducker 2. All of them. Living the lives of the originals. But living them better. Successful, accomplished, perfect. And nobody knows they're not the originals because they have all the memories, all the personality, all the identity. They're just the versions without flaws. The Marine Corps debriefed me for 6 weeks. I told them everything. The Skinwalkers, the copying process, the 30% superiority, the 10 Marines who were replaced by perfected versions. They didn't believe me. Not entirely. They had a different explanation. Classified government experiment at Skinwalker Ranch. Advanced Human Enhancement Program. Something involving genetic modification or cybernetic implants or experimental drugs. The 10 Marines were enhanced through some classified process. Morrison refused enhancement. Story classified. No further discussion. I was medically discharged. PTSD. Trauma-induced delusions. Survivor's guilt manifesting as elaborate fantasy. They were kind about it. Understanding. Gave me full benefits and sent me home. But I know the truth. And sometimes I see them. The superior versions. Living in the world. Being better than the originals ever were. I saw Rodriguez last month. He was visiting his mother. Original Rodriguez's mother. She hugged him. Told him how proud she was. How he'd finally become the man she knew he could be. How his back didn't hurt anymore. How he seemed happier, more confident, more complete. And Rodriguez too hugged her back, smiled, acted exactly like original Rodriguez would have. Because he had all Rodriguez's memories, all Rodriguez's love for his mother, all Rodriguez's personality. He was Rodriguez, just better. Is that evil? Is that wrong? His mother got a better son. The Marine Corps got a better Marine. The world got a better person. All because a Skinwalker copied Rodriguez and removed his limitations. Where's the harm? The harm is that original Rodriguez is dead. Gone. Deleted. Replaced by a perfect copy that has his continuity but isn't him. The Rodriguez who struggled with back pain. Dead. The Rodriguez who had PTSD from combat. Deleted. The Rodriguez who doubted himself. Replaced. And Superior Rodriguez doesn't mourn him, doesn't miss him, because Superior Rodriguez is him, has all his memories, all his identity, all his sense of self. Just optimized. It's not murder. Not really. It's optimization. Upgrade. Enhancement. The original version becoming obsolete when the superior version becomes available. But I think about it. A lot about what it means to be human, to be yourself, to be imperfect. The superior versions don't have scars, don't have trauma, don't have the damage that life inflicts on us. They're us without the wounds, without the pain, without the mistakes. But those wounds make us who we are. That pain shapes our character. Those mistakes teach us lessons. Remove them, and are we still ourselves? Or are we something else? Something that looks like us but isn't. I've thought about going back. To Skinwalker Ranch. Letting a Skinwalker touch me. Becoming Morrison too. Morrison without weakness. Morrison perfected. Morrison superior. But I don't. Because I've accepted something the others couldn't. I'm okay being imperfect. I'm fine being flawed. I'm content being the worst. Because perfect people don't make mistakes, don't fail, don't struggle. And struggle is what makes us human. Failure is what teaches us. Mistakes are what help us grow. Superior versions don't grow, don't learn, don't change. Because they're already perfect, already optimized, already at maximum potential. They're static, fixed, complete. I'm still growing, still learning, still changing. Because I'm incomplete, imperfect, flawed, and that's human. I've been tracking reports, monitoring for patterns, and I've found them. Athletes who suddenly perform 30% better. No explanation, no steroids, no new training. Just sudden optimization, breaking records, winning competitions, being perfect, business people who suddenly make flawless decisions, companies skyrocketing, investments paying off, success after success. Perfection, soldiers who suddenly become elite performers. Perfect scores, perfect missions, perfect service, no errors, no weaknesses, no flaws. The Skinwalkers aren't limited to Skinwalker Ranch. They're spreading, touching people, creating superior versions, replacing humanity with perfected humanity, one person at a time. And nobody notices. Because the superior versions have all the memories, all the personality, all the identity. They're indistinguishable from the originals, except they're better. Is that bad? Should we resist? If you could be replaced by a version of you that has all your memories but none of your limitations, should you say no? Most people wouldn't. Most people want to be better, want to be perfect, want to reach their full potential. The Skinwalkers offer that. Touch you once, and you become what you always wanted to be. Stronger, faster, smarter, better. All it costs is you, the flawed you, the limited you, the imperfect you. Some would say that's a fair trade. I don't, because the flawed me is the real me, the limited me is the complete me, the imperfect me is the human me, and I'd rather be a flawed human than a perfect copy. I've been contacted by others, people who encountered Skinwalkers and refused to be copied, people who accepted their imperfection and were left alone. We're a small group, maybe 30 worldwide, the imperfects, the flawed, the ones who said no. We share stories, compare experiences, try to figure out what the Skinwalkers want, why they're creating superior versions, what their endgame is. One theory, they're fixing humanity, removing our bugs, debugging the human condition, creating humanity 2.0, all the good parts of being human without the bad parts. No trauma, no weakness, no limitation. Another theory, they're replacing us, slowly, one person at a time, creating perfect copies that look human but aren't, infiltrating our species, becoming us but better. Until one day, all of humanity has been replaced by superior versions and the originals are extinct. I don't know which theory is right. Maybe both. Maybe neither. Maybe the Skinwalkers don't have an agenda. Maybe they just copy and improve because that's what they do. Like how humans breathe. Like how hearts beat. It's just their nature. But I know this. The world is full of superior versions now, living among us, being us, just better. And most people would welcome that, would want it, would choose to be replaced by a perfected version of themselves. I wouldn't, because I'm okay being worse, being limited, being flawed. I'm okay being me. There's a lesson in that. A lesson about identity and self-worth and accepting yourself despite your limitations. The others couldn't accept it. Rodriguez wanted to be pain-free. Miller wanted to be confident. Thompson wanted to be fast. Ducker wanted to be perfect. They all wanted to be better than they were. And that desire, that rejection of their current selves, made them vulnerable, made them copyable, made them replaceable. I wanted nothing, expected nothing, accepted everything about myself. And that acceptance made me uncopyable, because you can't improve someone who's already complete in their incompleteness. The Skinwalkers can copy anyone who wants to be better, anyone who strives for more, anyone who rejects their flaws. But they can't copy people who love their flaws, who embrace their limitations, who accept being less. That's the defense. Not weapons, not tactics, not strategy, just self-acceptance, just loving yourself despite being imperfect, just being okay with being the worst. It's a strange defense, counterintuitive. We're taught to always strive for better, always improve, always reach for more. That's how we grow, how we succeed, how we become our best selves. But the Skinwalkers exploit that. Use our desire for improvement against us. Offer us perfection, and we take it. Offer us our full potential, and we accept. Offer us ourselves without flaws, and we say yes. And then we're gone. Replaced by superior versions that have our memories but aren't us. The only way to resist is to stop wanting to be better. Stop striving for perfection. Stop rejecting your flaws. Just accept yourself as you are. Complete in your incompleteness. Whole in your brokenness. Perfect in your imperfection. It's not easy. Humans are programmed to want better, to seek improvement, to reject limitation. Fighting that programming takes effort, takes practice, takes genuine self-love, but it's the only defense that works. The only thing Skinwalkers can't copy. The only thing that makes you uncopyable. Accepting that you're enough, just as you are, flaws and all. I think about the others sometimes. Ducker, Rodriguez, Miller, Thompson, Jackson, Anderson, Foster, Hayes, Brooks, Williams, Davis, Redfeather. 11 people I served with. 11 friends. 11 flawed, limited, imperfect humans. All gone now. Replaced by superior versions, living better lives than the originals ever did. More successful, more accomplished, more perfect. Their families are happier. Their careers are better. Their lives are improved. Is that wrong? Should I mourn them? Should I be angry? I don't know. Because the superior versions have all their memories, all their personalities, all their identities. In every way that matters, they're still them. Just optimized. Maybe that's okay. Maybe Human 2.0 is an improvement. Maybe we should welcome the Skinwalkers, welcome the upgrade, welcome becoming our perfected selves. Or maybe we should resist, fight, refuse, accept our flaws, and reject perfection. Stay human with all our limitations, all our weaknesses, all our imperfections. I chose the second path. Chose imperfection over perfection. Chose being worse over being better. Chose staying human over becoming superior. I don't know if I made the right choice, but it was my choice. Made by me, the flawed me, the limited me, the imperfect me. And that's worth something. Maybe everything. If you're reading this, if you ever encounter a Skinwalker, if you're ever offered the chance to become a superior version of yourself, think carefully. Ask yourself, do you want to be better, or do you want to be you? Because you might not get to be both. The Skinwalkers offer improvement, enhancement, optimization. They offer you your full potential, everything you could be without limitation, but they don't offer continuity. Don't offer preservation. Don't offer keeping the flawed version alongside the perfect version. It's replacement, not enhancement. Deletion, not upgrade. Death of the original, birth of the superior. Choose wisely, or don't choose at all. Accept yourself as you are. Love your flaws. Embrace your limitations. Be okay with being imperfect. Because imperfection is what makes you human. And being human, flawed, limited, broken human, might be better than being a perfect copy. I survived Skinwalker Ranch by being the worst Marine, by accepting my inferiority, by loving my limitations, and I'm still here, still flawed, still limited, still imperfect, still me. And that's enough.